In the movie Aladdin, how does our protagonist go from, if Jasmine found out I was really some crummy street rat, she'd laugh at me, to, I gotta stop pretending something I'm not, at the expense of giving up his love? Let's explore the mindscape of our street rat turned prince, Aladdin, using the CTFAR model. Aladdin, through a sequence of extraordinary events, becomes a prince by casting his first wish to the genie. This is to court the princess whom he had fallen in love with a few days ago at the market where he lives as a street rat. After revealing himself as a prince to the sultan and the citizens of Agrabah, the topic of being yourself starts becoming important. The genie suggests to our hero to tell Jasmine the truth and reveal himself as who he is. But Aladdin doesn't want to do that, and so the genie becomes disappointed. That's the last thing I want to be. Aladdin's context is he is a street rat living in the marketplace with his sidekick monkey Abu. He has met Princess Jasmine and he has fallen in love with Jasmine. Another context relevant to this situation is that the princess can only marry a prince. At this point, the visible thought is, my true self is the last thing I want to be. When Aladdin is thinking this thought, we can see that it makes him feel agitated, anxious. These feelings fuel the actions of pretending to be confident and lavish, lying to Jasmine about actually being a prince, and saying, for the first time in my life, things are starting to go right. Then he abruptly becomes kidnapped and almost gets killed. Let's talk about some thought errors here. Who did Jasmine fall in love with in the first place? It was the street rat version of Aladdin. So Jasmine falling in love with Aladdin is definitely something that was going right for Aladdin. But because he's trapped in the thought of, oh, my true self is the last thing I want to be, he's blind to this fact. Moreover, there are plenty of things that Aladdin would rather be than his true self. For example, would he prefer to be Jafar's slave over his true self? Or does he want to be his monkey Abu instead of himself? Or an inanimate object? Thinking this extreme thought of either prince or street rat and nothing in between or on the outside is black and white thinking, and it's convenient for Aladdin's unconscious mind because when he blames his problems to his status, which he thinks he has no control over, the mind doesn't have to do anything because the mind's fate is out of its hands. The primitive brain hates change, so it's prone to justifying thought errors like black or white thinking to preserve itself. Going back to our prince, the stakes become a bit higher for him as he learns that he is going to be the sultan of Agrabah once he marries Jasmine. This causes a dilemma for Aladdin because he's thinking that inside he's not a true sultan because he's not really a prince. No, they want to make Prince Ali sultan. Without you, I'm just Aladdin. If Aladdin thought, hey, I think I'm actually gonna make a pretty good sultan, so I'm gonna commit to this bit, he would have no problem assuming the throne. Jafar actually has no problem assuming the throne because he thinks that he is worthy to be a sultan. So it fuels his actions that eventually make him meet the genie and become a sultan. So at this point, our hero's initial thought of, I am the last thing I want to be, given some new circumstances, expands into, I'm not good enough without the genie. The only reason anyone thinks I'm worth anything is because of you. This thought causes Aladdin to feel powerless, and with this powerlessness, Aladdin cannot wish the genie free, assumes that he will lose Jasmine without genie, lashes out at the genie and tells him to stay in the lamp, and even lashes out at Abu and the carpet. The result that this thought creates is he really becomes worthless and powerless. His actions cause all of his friends to be isolated from him, further fuels Jafar's rage to cause a catastrophe on Agrabah, and makes him actually worthless when he discovers that he doesn't have the lamp. Aladdin has a true change of heart when he learns the consequences of his thoughts and actions. I've gotta go back and set things straight. He uses his prefrontal cortex, the creative part of the brain, to come up with creative solutions that only he can think of, while embracing his true identity. Hey, I'm a street rat, remember? I'll improvise. We can see a courageous look on his face as he battles the evil sorcerer. He's once again isolated from his friends as Abu becomes a toy, the carpet becomes unwound, and Genie is still bound to Jafar. The situation is the same as before. The friends are still isolated, so Aladdin has to face Jafar alone. But because his thoughts change and he doesn't have to rely on the lamp, he's able to pick up a scimitar and fight Jafar, ride a ruby like a surfboard, and get a cut into Jafar's snake body and trick Jafar into becoming a genie. Ultimately, he ends up saving Jasmine and the Sultan. He even is willing to give up his future with Jasmine to stop pretending to be somebody else. His thoughts change to, I'm good enough as who I am without the need for anybody else. Although some Disney magic happened at the end, and so Sultan basically makes him, the Sultan changes the law so that Jasmine can marry whoever she wants, I can confidently say that the positive self-affirming thought equipped Aladdin would have conquered any problem that came his way. Did you enjoy this thought modeling exercise? Subscribe for more videos like this, and if you want to work on your own thought modeling with me, I have space left for individual life coaching. Just click the link in the description to book a free discovery call with me. I'll see you next time, and I hope you have a thoughtful day.